The recording wasn't supposed to exist. Security protocols at the Lakers' El Segundo training facility strictly prohibited any electronic devices during closed-door team meetings. But on March 15, 2023, someone forgot to turn off the backup audio system in Conference Room B. What happened in that room during the next 47 minutes would become the most explosive leaked audio in NBA history. LeBron James sat at the head of the mahogany table, his championship rings catching the fluorescent light as he addressed his teammates about leadership, legacy, and what it truly means to be the greatest of all time. But when rookie Austin Reaves innocently asked, "Bron, do you really think you're better than Jordan?" The King's response left everyone speechless. Have you ever heard someone destroy a legend so completely that it actually made you respect both of them more? Because what LeBron said in those next 8 minutes wasn't just trash talk. It wasn't ego. It was a masterclass in confidence that would make Michael Jordan himself nod in approval. But before I reveal the exact words that sent shockwaves through the NBA, you need to understand why this moment was 20 years in the making. The GOAT debate had been suffocating LeBron James since he was 18 years old. Every shot he took, every decision he made, every championship he won or lost, everything was measured against the ghost of Michael Jordan. Sports analysts built careers dissecting their differences. Fans chose sides like it was a religious war. Even his own teammates walked on eggshells around the topic. For 2 decades, LeBron had given diplomatic answers. Michael's the greatest. I'm just trying to be the best version of myself. Different eras, different games. I have nothing but respect for what MJ accomplished. But that March afternoon in the Lakers conference room, something had changed. Maybe it was turning 38 and realizing he was running out of time to cement his legacy. Maybe it was the frustration of watching younger players like Austin Reaves look at Jordan highlights with the same awe previous generations reserved for Magic Johnson. Or maybe LeBron was just tired of pretending. The room was small, just the core rotation players. Anthony Davis sat to LeBron's right, D'Angelo Russell to his left. Austin Reaves, barely 24 and still starstruck by playing alongside the King, occupied the chair directly across from LeBron. The meeting had started routinely enough. Coach Darvin Ham had left after discussing defensive rotations. LeBron stayed behind to talk about mental toughness, about what separates good players from legends. And then Reaves asked the question that changed everything. "Bron, real talk? Do you really think you're better than Jordan?" The silence in that room was deafening. You could hear the air conditioning humming. You could hear D'Angelo Russell's chair creak as he shifted uncomfortably. Everyone knew they were about to witness something historic. LeBron leaned back in his chair, a smile playing at the corners of his mouth. It wasn't his usual media smile, the practiced, politically correct expression he'd perfected over 20 years of interviews. This was something different, something dangerous, something real. "Austin," LeBron said, his voice calm but carrying an edge none of them had heard before. "Let me tell you something that's never been recorded. Something I've never said publicly. Something that's going to sound like ego, but it's just facts." He paused, looking each player in the eye. Michael Jordan was great in his era, phenomenal. But if you really want to know the truth, and this stays in this room, MJ wouldn't last 2 seasons in today's NBA. The sharp intake of breath from around the table was audible on the recording. LeBron continued, his voice gaining intensity. "You want to know the difference between me and Jordan? Michael played in an era where hand-checking was legal, where you could clothesline a guy driving to the basket and it was good defense. The game was slower, more predictable, less sophisticated. D'Angelo Russell started to interject, but LeBron held up his hand. "I'm not disrespecting Michael's greatness. What he did in his time was perfect. But I've been adapting to rule changes, defensive schemes, and athletic improvements for 21 years. Michael played essentially the same game for 15 years. Then came the statement that would become legendary. Michael Jordan was the greatest player of the 1990s. But I'm the greatest basketball player who ever lived, period. And the difference is this: I can play any position in any era against any competition. Michael was a shooting guard who dominated a specific style of basketball. I am basketball. The recording captured every word, every inflection, every moment of stunned silence that followed. But LeBron wasn't finished. Austin, you ask me if I think I'm better than Jordan? Here's what I think. Michael Jordan in his prime, transported to today's game, would average 22 points per game. Good player. Maybe an all-star. But not dominant. You know why? Because the athletes today are faster, stronger, smarter. The schemes are more complex. The competition is global. Anthony Davis finally spoke. Bron, that's what? Controversial? Disrespectful? LeBron's voice remained steady. Let me give you facts, not feelings. What happened next was a systematic dismantling of the Jordan mystique that would make even the most devoted Bulls fan question everything they thought they knew. LeBron stood up, walking to the whiteboard in the corner of the room. Michael Jordan played 15 seasons. I'm in my 21st. He won 6 championships, all with the same core team, same coach, same system. I've won 4 championships with 3 different teams, adapting to completely different systems and eras. He started writing numbers on the board. Career points. LeBron 38,652 and counting. Jordan 32,292. Career assists. LeBron 10,420. Jordan 5,633. Career rebounds. LeBron 10,210. Jordan 6,672. The markers squeaked against the whiteboard as each number hit like a physical blow. But here's the real difference, LeBron continued, turning back to face his teammates. Michael Jordan retired twice because he couldn't handle the pressure and the grind. I'm 38 years old in my 21st season, and I'm still the best player on a team competing for championships. Russell Westbrook, who had been silent until now, leaned forward. But the finals record, Bron. LeBron's laugh was sharp, almost bitter. The finals record. 6-0 versus 4-6. You want to know what that really means? It means Michael only made the finals 6 times in 15 years. I made it 10 times in 21 years, including 8 straight years. Something Jordan never even came close to accomplishing. The room was electric now, every player hanging on LeBron's words. Michael Jordan lost in the first round 4 times. 4 times. I've never lost in the first round, not once. But nobody talks about that because losing early doesn't count against your finals record. Then came the statement that would be quoted for decades. The truth that nobody wants to admit is this: Michael Jordan was protected by the media, protected by the league, and protected by playing in an era where his biggest competition was maybe 5 other elite players. I've been competing against the most talented basketball players in human history for 2 decades, and I'm still here, still dominant, still the standard. LeBron sat back down, his voice becoming more reflective, more philosophical. You want to know what separates me from Michael? It's not the statistics, though those speak for themselves. It's the mentality. Michael Jordan needed to hate his opponents to motivate himself. He created enemies, manufactured slights, built walls between himself and everyone else. He gestured around the room. I make my teammates better. I adapt my game to whatever my team needs. In Miami, I was a slashing wing. In Cleveland, I was a point forward. Here in LA, I'm whatever we need me to be on any given night. Michael Jordan was a great player who happened to have great teammates. I'm a great player who makes my teammates great. Austin Reaves, still processing everything he'd heard, asked quietly, But what about the cultural impact? The global brand? LeBron's smile returned, but this time it was warmer, more genuine. Austin, Michael Jordan sells shoes. I changed the world. Michael made basketball popular. I made basketball players into activists, entrepreneurs, and global citizens. Jordan was the best basketball player of his generation. I'm the most complete human being to ever play basketball. The pause that followed was pregnant with meaning. But here's what I respect about MJ. He knew his role. He played it perfectly. And he knew when to step away. When I retire, there won't be any debate about who came after me, because there will never be another me. As the meeting began to wind down, LeBron made a prediction that would prove prophetic. Mark my words. In 20 years, when basketball fans look back on this era, they won't be debating Jordan versus LeBron anymore. They'll be asking how anyone ever thought it was close. He looked directly at Austin Reaves. Young fella, you're going to be part of that legacy. You're going to tell your kids and grandkids that you played with the greatest basketball player who ever lived. Not the greatest of the 90s. Not the greatest of this generation. The greatest ever. D'Angelo Russell laughed nervously. Bron, you sure you want all this on record? What record? LeBron replied with a wink. This is just us talking basketball. But the backup audio system captured every word. 3 weeks later, a Lakers staff member discovered the recording during routine equipment maintenance. Within days, excerpts had leaked to ESPN, The Athletic, and social media. The basketball world exploded. Michael Jordan's representatives issued a terse no comment. Skip Bayless devoted an entire week of shows to defending Jordan's legacy. Shannon Sharpe played clips on Undisputed while nodding in agreement. But the most telling response came from a former Bulls player who spoke anonymously to a Chicago reporter. I hate to admit it, but LeBron made some valid points. The game is different now. The athletes are different. And what LeBron's done over 21 years, man, I don't think anyone's ever going to match that longevity at that level. The leaked audio changed everything. For the first time in his career, LeBron James had publicly, definitively stated his case for being the greatest of all time. No diplomacy, no hedge betting, no different eras caveats. Just pure, unfiltered confidence backed by 2 decades of unprecedented excellence. Sports analysts dissected every word. Fans chose sides with renewed passion. Former players weighed in with hot takes and careful deflections. But perhaps the most interesting response came from an unexpected source. 2 weeks after the leak, during a charity golf tournament in Charlotte, Michael Jordan was asked about LeBron's comments. His response was vintage MJ, competitive, dismissive, but with a hint of something that might have been respect. I took it personally. The crowd laughed, but Jordan continued. Look, LeBron's had a great career. Longevity matters. Adaptation matters. But when I played, I didn't just beat my opponents, I broke them. LeBron's got the numbers, but I had the killer instinct. Then Jordan smiled that famous smile. But if he wants to keep the debate alive while I'm retired, and he's still playing, that just proves who the real GOAT is. When you're the king, you don't have to announce it. The counterpunch was perfect. Classic Jordan. But for the first time, it felt like he was responding from a position of defense rather than dominance. The leaked audio had accomplished something no playoff performance, no championship, no statistical milestone had managed. It forced Michael Jordan to acknowledge LeBron James as a legitimate threat to his legacy. And maybe, just maybe, that was LeBron's plan all along. Today, that leaked audio is considered one of the most important documents in basketball history. Not because it settled the GOAT debate. If anything, it intensified it. But because it marked the moment LeBron James stopped chasing Michael Jordan's ghost and started building his own immortal legacy. The conversation has changed. It's no longer about whether LeBron can surpass Jordan. It's about whether anyone will ever surpass LeBron. And somewhere in Los Angeles, the king is still adding to his resume, one game at a time, secure in the knowledge that he said what needed to be said. The truth isn't always comfortable, but it's always liberating. What do you think? Did LeBron cross a line? Or did he finally speak the truth that everyone was afraid to acknowledge? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want more leaked conversations and untold stories from the King's legendary career, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. You never know what secrets we'll uncover next. Remember, all stories are fictional entertainment created for inspiration and discussion. But the passion, the drive, and the greatness, that's 100% real.